In the chaos of war, some heroes fight with rifles, others with scalpels. This is the incredible story of a place that was supposed to be a sanctuary for the wounded, but became a battleground, and the one woman who refused to let it fall. Her name was Valeria, and she was the head doctor at a small field hospital on the outskirts of a city under siege. 4 weeks. The sound of distant explosions was the grim soundtrack to their life-saving work. The hospital, a converted schoolhouse, was a beacon of hope amidst the destruction, its red cross a symbol of neutrality and care. But one morning, the distant explosions became terrifyingly close. The line had shifted, and suddenly their small aid station was on the front lines. The enemy was advancing, and orders came down the chain of command: evacuate. All personnel were to pull back to a more secure location. It was a logical, strategic decision. The hospital was dangerously exposed, and the staff were medics, not soldiers. They couldn't possibly defend it. But Valeria looked at the 20 beds in her care. 20 soldiers, too gravely injured to be moved. Evacuation, for them, wasn't an option. It was a death sentence. As the last of the able-bodied staff prepared to leave, a heavy choice fell upon her. She could follow orders, save herself, and abandon her patients to an uncertain fate, or she could stay. Looking into the eyes of a young soldier, his leg bandaged, his face pale with fear, she made her decision. She wasn't leaving. A handful of her most loyal nurses, seeing the resolve in her eyes, made the same choice. They would stay. The commander who gave the evacuation order called her insane. He told her she was signing her own death warrant, but her duty as a doctor, her oath to do no harm, was stronger than her fear. Now, they were on their own. The departing soldiers left them a few rifles, some ammunition, and a grim warning: they will show no mercy. Valeria, a woman who had only ever known how to heal, now had to learn how to fight. With her small team of nurses, they began to turn their hospital into a fortress. They barricaded the doors with desks and beds. They pushed filing cabinets against the windows, leaving just small gaps to see through. They gathered every flammable substance they could find, glycol, cleaning supplies, and created makeshift traps. Every corridor became a potential choke point. The first attack came at dusk. A small enemy squad, expecting an empty building, approached carelessly. They were met with a surprising volley of fire from the second-story windows. Shocked and confused, they retreated, but they knew the resistance was small. They would be back, and in greater numbers. Inside, the tension was unbearable. Between firefights, Valeria and her nurses would rush back to the ward, changing dressings, administering medicine, and whispering words of comfort to their terrified patients. They were living a surreal double life: warrior one moment, healer the next. For 3 days and 3 nights, they held out. The small schoolhouse became a symbol of defiance. The enemy threw everything they had at them, but Valeria's makeshift fortress held strong. Her knowledge of the building's layout became a tactical advantage. She directed her small team from one choke point to another, anticipating the enemy's moves. They were exhausted, running low on ammunition and surviving on adrenaline and sheer willpower. Just when it seemed they could hold on no longer, the roar of friendly tanks echoed in the distance. A counter-offensive had been launched, inspired by the unbelievable stand at the hospital. The siege was broken. When reinforcements finally entered the aid station, they found a scene of controlled chaos. Valeria, covered in dust and grime, was calmly stitching a patient's wound. The rifle she had just used leaning against the wall beside her. She and her team had not only saved the lives of their 20 patients, but they had also held a critical strategic point, turning the tide of the local battle. She wasn't a soldier, but she proved that courage isn't about the uniform you wear. It's about the conviction in your heart. Thanks for watching. If this story of incredible bravery inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you next time.